Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to MRL Action. My name is Strifium. Joining me once again after our Champions Division is Unicorn, and we're here, as you can see, in the Netherlands for what's going to be a 100% distance race. And you can see the Netherlands. We visited it last week. 14 turns, George. 4.259 kilometers, and my oh my, what a week of racing it was around here last week. And well, we're back. I didn't think we'd be back so soon, but we are. And it is the Netherlands.
Yeah, absolutely. And it provided, some great action when we were here not too long ago, obviously, for the regularly scheduled league action, the aforementioned Champions Division that we've just wrapped up round 3 of around Russia. But obviously here, endurance, a community event, short qualifying preceding a 100% distance race. It's, I believe, 72 laps around Zandvoort for a 100% race. It's a short lap, but that is by no means a small feat. So for any of these drivers here, getting to the end is going to be a challenge, and anyone who does so going to have a huge pound of that. We saw a few spins, the likes, coming out there in when we were here on league action, both in qualifying and the race, and well, a 100% race. Tire strategies are different. The endurance aspect of it comes into play, and well, I think all of that combined, we're going to see some action. We're going to see some drama. We saw a crazy safety car restart here. We saw some crazy finishes to the line here. All of that, 100% race. I think we're in for a good evening.
100% here for a good evening around this Zandvoort circuit, and we're just getting everybody dialed in now. We're going to get, well, I don't believe our weather forecast is going to be dynamic. It's going to be somewhat controlled to the weather that we've seen in the Netherlands over the course of this weekend, and what the forecast is going to be for this race tomorrow, in all honesty. And while we've got 20 drivers on the grid, 5 more drivers than we had earlier for the Champions Division. You love to see the community coming together for these races. We had quite a few signups for this, but George, why don't you take us through who we have racing this evening for what's going to be our long haul around, well, what's going to be the Dutch Grand Prix?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, 20 drivers on the grid, no one full-time as it's a community event, but we've got Matt at the top of the time at the moment, Yagziel in P2, then we've got Yar Brownie, who we've just seen in that Champions Division race. He was reserving there. Here again for Zandvoort. He's not the only driver we're going to see twice this evening. Kai in the McLaren, four-door sedan there in 6th, Vincent Nyquist in 7th with Larson in the Mercedes, Blind and Jake in the top 10 at the moment, Angel in 11th, Freeware there in the Alfa Tauri, and Yaya in 13th at the moment, Yoda here in 14th, Neon, another one of those drivers, as well as Luke Smith. They were both just on the podium in the Champions Division race, so they've already done one race very well this evening. Let's see if they can continue that. Obviously, Neon's home race here at Zandvoort. Wisp in 17th, Disaster in 18th, Dimitri in 19th, and then Noel Carmen without ABS according to his name, so we'll see how that fares for him. Is they're wrapping up our grid in 20th position at the moment.
This might not necessarily be the best circuit to attempt that, if I'm honest. I don't know how that's going to go for him. Hopefully he does well. But man, oh man, are things getting busy here ever early in the session. And it's, as you mentioned, the home circuit of Neon. He will be the first driver to get us through on a lap. And we saw Neon not too long ago, just a few moments ago. We were talking to Neon as he took 3rd in Russia, driving the Red Bull, this time around in the Aston Martin, to push out a lap here around Zandvoort.
Yeah, firing it down towards the line. DRS open into turn 1 in the Aston Martin. Wanting to keep it tight to the right here without touching the curb, because that can send you right around. Coming then through turn 2 into the banking at turn 3. Well, not the same as we take it in real life, where they go all the way around the outside. Here, you want to get tight to the inside and then slingshot your way out through onto the outside. Then coming through 4, 5, 6 into 7 as you go downhill over the crest. And then up again as you exit the corner. It looks like Neon's dropped the lap here. Doesn't look like he's accelerating fast out of 7. And it looks like he is done and dusted. Larson's crashed coming out onto turn 2, it would seem.
Well, that's not how you want to have things go early on. And, well, you haven't even gotten an opportunity to get a lap through. You're coming into a 100% distance campaign. That's not a good jolt to the confidence at all. Neon dropping his lap at the end here. Well, he didn't use any battery on that last run at all, so just wanting to get the fuel out of the car, pushing to start again. So the lap time coming behind him now. He sets a 13.130, but it's going to be a 109.753 coming out of Angel in the Williams to get ourselves started with the fast runs.
Yeah, and that's on the mediums, and a nice time there. Kai on 109.782, and there's a 109.719 from Free, where they're all on the mediums. It's Nyquist, the 110 flat on the mediums of the Ferrari. Matt goes fast, it's the 109.675 there. That's on the soft compound tires, and that makes it an AlphaTauri 1-2 at the moment at the top of things, and that's quickly broken up by the other Aston Martin. Neon didn't do well on his first lap, but Yaya into a 109.697, also on the softs.
Very good run so far. 10 drivers through at times, all the way from first down to 10th position separation right now. Well, let's take a look. Look at how tight it is just in the top 5. It's a 10th. And that is really setting ourselves up for a rapid race as more times start to come through.
Yeah, Jake right now flying in the Alfa Romeo. There goes Neon on 109.295. So he reestablishes himself at the top of things at his home Grand Prix, which makes Aston Martin and AlphaTauri as the two teams to look out for. Jake is spinning around. We said we saw it catch out a few people throughout the regularly scheduled league action here. In endurance, it's already caught out Larson. It's caught out Jake. And I think it might have caught out one of the Aston Martins as well. Who is that? It's Yaya, who's P4 right now, spinning around and destroying a braking board at the same time.
Yeah, that 50 board, I think, on the right-hand side, in a state now where, well, it's gone for good. Blind pushing through sector 1. He's about to bring us down the hill.
Yeah, and, one of these drivers who's yet to set a lap time here in the Red Bull. He's on the mediums as well, which has been what a lot of drivers are doing. There's Freeway waiting on the inside there. I thought that was a crashed car, but it wasn't. I think he's just letting Blind go here as he flies down DRS into turns 11 and 12. Nicely done from the Red Bull through there. Into 13 now.
Here. There's an issue. Who's this? Angel Cordova pushing off. He's not pushing off. He's just spun off on that inside.
I just parked on the inside line. Very, very bizarre there to see that. Blind, he was only able to muster up a 111 flat there, so 14th place for him. As I don't think we have anyone on an active flyer. Noel is on his way back into the pit lane by the looks of it. Wisp maybe. Let's see what the Swedish driver could do to the line. Medium running, and it's good for an improvement, but not in terms of position. He goes 12th fastest, or stays 12th fastest, I should say, with a 110.385 there.
Some good runs. Who was that just came through? Was that Jake? Yes, it was. A 109.834. He jumps ahead of his teammate this evening, Mr. Disaster, who we have seen multiple times in the Tier 4 division come through on that podium. He's up there in the standings for our Tier 4 division.
Yeah, we even saw him, here take a podium with that photo finish as well for the P1 and P2 slots. And he'll be looking to have, a great success here again today, I would imagine, here at Zandvoort. But he did put in a stunning performance there. Obviously, Tier 4 driver, there's some very, very quick drivers here from the tiers above him, so he's going to have his work cut out. But if you can stay within, the track, you don't have any issues. That's really going to pay dividends in an endurance race like this. 72 laps.
It's a long haul around here. And it is the precursor to what will hopefully not be a rained out session in tomorrow's Formula One World Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to, we don't want to be sitting around for 4 or 5 hours again to have an underwhelming campaign, to put it lightly. But I know they're putting in things in place to prevent that from happening again. And I do believe the sun has been shining over in the Netherlands to reduce the chance of that happening to pretty much 0 as Yoda has a little slide in the Haas coming out of turn 12. He's looking to round out his first flying lap of the session. Where does he put it? DRS to the line here. And he drops that lap. He looks like he's going to try a little bit of a medium run. It would have been a good time, a 110.4 he puts in, and that's with lifting.
He dropped
I think he would easily have been in the top 10.
Yeah, he shaved a ton off of that lap without a doubt, and he's got something up his sleeve. Luke Smith now, we saw him and spoke to him just a few moments ago after he took P2 in Russia. He has begun a flyer down into turn 1 as Vincent Nyquist and Yags take a provisional 1-2 for the Scuderia Ferraris, and it's a 108.939, the first time of the evening to go sub 109 here. It's a 108.939 coming out of Yagsful. Very good run there as Demetrio in the McLaren will push through into that front row provisionally.
Yeah, absolutely. Qualifying starting to heat up a little bit again. Track evolution here, very, very powerful, and we'll see how that unfolds throughout the rest of things. Neon and his home race, he's on an out lap. He was pole at the start of things. He's looking to go again. His teammate as well. It looks like he's dropped the lap. Actually, he is off in the gravel. Not maybe by choice. He smashes another brakey board. That's not the first he's taken out. Obviously, he had to spin earlier. Yeah, 108.625. Here he goes, top. At the moment, it looks like most people now opting for the soft compound tire.
Yoda on the move, Brownie, his teammate. 19th on the timing tower. He had a stellar performance overall in the race earlier. In the Russian Champions Division, he was there as a reserve. He comes into the endurance race, drops a bit of time at the line. It's a 109.956, good for 12th.
Oh, disaster! He's out. That's a huge crash.
That was massive. I was just about to check in with him, and we are staring at that Alfa Romeo just off the racing line. The full right wheel came off, and that is just bad luck.
That is an unbelievable. It was very weird the way he lost the car. It just kept turning in, coming out of the final turn. That obviously infamous banked corner as cars still hurtle by here, but then the car just scraped along the wall with that front tire, and we've seen it time and time again. If it's the wheel that hits the wall, depending on how fast you're going, that's when the terminal damage comes in. Well, that car has now been cleared off the track. Four-door sedan improving by half a second. Only good for one place, but 15th on 10.2 ahead of Wisp there.
Had an issue in Sector 2. That is an AlphaTauri. It is not Matt, as he's just begun a lap. It's Freeware. Unless there was something else causing that yellow, as Freeware continues on what seems to be his outlap and his begin of a run.
I think something happened to Neon as well, because he was 10 seconds down, so he's obviously dropped that up. Going again now, though, in the Aston Martin. He needs to find some time if he wants to establish himself back up at the top. We just saw him have a good race in Champions around Russia. We'll see whether we're speaking to him at the end of this one as well.
Matt
so there's a problem for another AlphaTauri, yeah. He's crashed, I think, coming out of... Where is that? Turn 8. I think Neon coming through. Yeah, Matt, similar to where we saw Yaya spin earlier. But this time it's a problem as Neon goes down as well.
Yeah, he's had an issue in the Aston Martin, a reset to track as well.
Very, very unfortunate here. Kai getting through a bit of traffic. I think he's just letting a few guys go here. But he is on a fly, apparently, so he's obviously dropped that and is letting the traffic go now. But I don't think there was a crash for the AlphaTauri.
Wisp has crashed.
This does not bode well for a 72-lap race.
No, it does not. And I sincerely hope I sincerely hope that this is not the beginnings of something that you and I will rather not go into.
Well, only time
Monaco
will
and
tell.
Hungary just, they get there in your head and then they don't leave.
They sit there, live rent-free in the back of our minds as Yagziel now will come out of the infamous corner. It looks like he was going to gun for the pit lane, but he's not. He is going to come through, and he does find time, but there is such a gap between where he was. But I don't. There we go. His timing is updated now.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
But that was a bit confusing for a moment. He is still P3, but a lot closer to where he was.
Did he disconnect or something? Because he just jumped right into the pit lane, right?
What is going on?
Kai on the move now, coming out of the banking, pushing to the line in the McLaren into the pit lane. Actually. Vincent improves. It is not enough to jump him ahead of the McLaren Kai in front of him, however, and that is the only active car on track other than Mr. Luke Smith. Luke Smith beginning. Never mind. He had a lot of battery, not a lot of fuel. So taking a trip into the pit lane there.
Yeah, Yagziel, potential disconnect there, like you said. So hopefully he's able to get back in. I don't think he ever left, but maybe a disconnection in terms of a very brief momentary issue there on his end.
Yeah, very odd situation, that one. Couple drivers on outlaps right now. One driver on an outlap right now. Mr. Angel Cordova in the Williams. Representing who I still believe is his favorite driver, Mr. Sebastian Vettel. The SV5 tag.
Well, obviously not in Vettel's car. I do believe that's George Russell's Williams there. And, well, that was a car that's found its way off the track and out of the session earlier on today. Hopefully for Angel, he has a bit better luck here. In his, will be one of his final qualifying runs. He's got an opportunity to go again, and he might have to take it. And there he goes. It's out.
That was massive. That was huge. And that whole front right again, you've mentioned it. When you hit that front right tire, you are in trouble. His teammate there, Yar, just pushing by him. Big crash.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate there. And, well, I hit him with sort of the opposite of a commentator's curse there. So we'll see how that bodes for him. Freeware just starting a fly. The German, he's dropped a lot of laps, maybe due to traffic, maybe just because he wasn't happy with it. It doesn't seem he's had any incidents, but we'll see how he goes here. I don't think he got stuck in third there on my screen. I don't know whether that happened to him there, but really revved it out in third. Does the same in sixth, but just to carry the speed through again. Drops the lap coming out of 7. And behind him, oh my goodness, he is lucky Brownie did not hit him. The two Germans nearly came together there with Brownie spinning out of the corner. Yagziel rejoins.
This is so tough for Brownie too. He's trying to find a space to get the car rotated. He does so, and he does so as safely as he can. I have to say he did a good job there compared to some things we've seen. I mean, we think to just Russia earlier in Champions Division. Some of the collisions we saw there.
Yeah, there's another problem. Who is this off in Sector 1? Is it? Yeah, is he?
I don't know.
On track?
I don't believe that's on track.
Well, he's in Sector 1. That car's just pulled off to the side. He's retired on track.
It is his car on track, and he has... What?
That wasn't a crash. That was a manual retirement because that car moved.
Alrighty then. That is quite the development. That is very interesting to see.
Vincent flying in the Ferrari. We'll see what he can do. I believe he's the only person on an active flyer right now that's on a fresh set. Maybe someone going around a second time here as the checkered flag is being waved. Although it's not coming up next to anyone's name. There shouldn't be any decent good play though. So I think everyone's just on an active flyer or on an in-lap. But there we go. It will be the final run for those who are out flying. And Vincent being one of them for sure. He's up a little bit, not a lot, but with those tight margins, this could see him up into at least the second row of the grid. Depends how much time he has got to find through this third sector. Coming through out of 13 into the famous 14. This banked corner, flinging it wide, slingshotting down into the pit lane. So he will not be finding any improvement there.
Not a lot of improvements coming.
Yeah, it's pretty much over, I think.
Brownie to the line. He takes 11th position. Yeah, has no front wing. And I think this rounds out our qualifying here. Ahead of the 100% distance Dutch Grand Prix for our MRL Endurance Series. And man, have we had some exciting races. And this one, look at the gap right now from first down to 10th position, 7/10. We got Brownie there. He's on the medium. He qualified. You got other drivers who had struggles in this session that are going to go into fight. This race, well, we've seen qualifying shaken up in these races before. We've seen safety cars shake up these races before. I think we're in for a real treat tonight. So, of course, everybody, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, safety cars, I think, will be aplenty if people keep having the same troubles they've had here. But the people who weren't having problems, well, he did have one later on in the session, but he qualifies pole nonetheless in P1 in the Williams. Behind him by a 10th is Luke Smith, the man we saw take second in the Champions race just a moment ago. Takes second here in qualifying with Yagsniel running out the top three. Freeway joins him on the second row. The third row is locked out by the McLarens, Dimitri and Kai there. Vincent Nyquist starts in the Ferrari alongside Neon and his home race in just 8th. He was in that Champions race too. Jake and Noel make it a Swedish 5th row, rounding out the top 10. And we'll go through the rest of the grid in just a moment. Brownie, this is enough. We saw him not improve into the top 10, but he was dead set on starting on those mediums, made that final on the mediums. To get 11th on the mediums when everyone else is on soft, really not a bad run for the German at all.
No.
And, well, if he's adamant on that strategy, he's obviously backing it quite severely, and we'll see how that plays into things. 72 laps, strategy is going to be crucial here. And, well, just surviving the endurance shift because, well, qualifying was only 18 minutes and we saw multiple retirements there. Hopefully the drivers can, well, survive. I was going to say a little longer, but really, I mean, a lot longer than that in the race.
Yeah, we could very well be seeing some wet conditions here come in the race as well. If you look at circuit, nothing super clear cut. I think there was a chance of rain. If we see safety cars, that could be increased to rain. We'll have to see. We've seen a little bit of wet running here last week for our round 2 Misfits Racing League action. Now we're here for round 3 in Russia. Well, not here in Russia, but that's where we've been this week in the MRL. Next week we'll be going to Spa, which is where we were last week for this series of races. And it was a great race. Check that out on the YouTube channel. But all of these drivers getting their setups dialed in ahead of what's going to be a very long haul. They're going to be tweaking some things, tweaking some fuel, making sure for your back 10 that you're starting on your preferred tire. There's a lot of things that you want to dial in ahead of what's going to be a full-blown 100% distance race. Especially if there's going to be a potential for rain. You might want to tweak a couple of things. It's going to be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If rain does happen, you know, it's a short race and a short lap here, but it's not a short race. 72 laps is, you know, a real struggle. The game suggesting a 2-stop there, soft, medium, soft, or a soft, medium, medium. I imagine as much soft time as I can get will be the driver's preference. I would not be surprised to see the 2-stop, soft, medium, soft coming out.
Quite bold coming out of Yoda here. He's on the hard compound tires. He's one of 2 drivers in the back 10 that have opted for something other than the medium. You can see Disaster. He's opted for the softs. He's got some good experience around here. He's got a podium around here last week, of course, for round 2 in Tier 4. And we have a few other racers that have had podiums through here as well. But of course, Disaster, 15th position on this timing tower. Soft compound tires, very interesting strategy call. He's going to be looking for early positions. Yoda is looking to go long on these hards. It also gives him, if there's an early safety car, a little bit of a dynamic in what he can then do, because he'll have that the slowest tire realistically out of the way. So 72 laps. What a grid we have here lined up for this one.
Yeah, and I think Yoda's cool. He's in 19th down there, and as a result of that, you can only go up. But this track, we know it's notoriously hard to overtake at. It's tight, it's twisty. The real only opportunity is turn 1, turn 11 if you're bold, and maybe turn 7 if you're even bolder. But on the hards, he's not going to drop. Maybe he loses out to last on the start, but realistically, there is not really a lot he can go for. There's a bit of debris. Someone appears to have hit a board on the outside of turn 12, but yeah, not a bad call from him, because like you said, depending on the conditions, he could just gain a load of positions on track here and then pit under a safety car, and we'll see what works. A little bit of gamble for him, but it might work out. But here we go, everyone lining up on the grid. Obviously a very short formation lap given the track, but we're just about ready to go racing.
Larsen back in now. Yar, Luke Smith, Yags, your top three here in the Netherlands. It is the MRL Endurance Series. It is the Dutch Grand Prix, ahead of the Dutch Grand Prix, if you will, and it is now 3, 4, 5 red lights here on in Zandvoort. The engines are revving and the lights are out, and we are away racing. It's been a great start for Freeware. Look at the AlphaTauri absolutely rocking himself into lead of this race off the line. My oh my, was that ever a move, and I have to say, I don't think Luke or Yar saw that coming. They're wheel-to-wheel through into turn 3 right now, and man, oh man, does Dimitri you have a view.
Gio's off.
Uh-oh.
Yaxiol is down the order. He is off in terms of out of the way as well, so no one went into him. Kai and Vincent side by side. Vincent getting the better of the McLaren, so he goes up into P6, but like you mentioned, what a rocket ship launch from Freeware, and Luke Smith looking to find a way past Yar to get back his P2 where he started, but the German, my oh my, is Brownie, speaking of Germans, is looking to get past Noel and does so. He's up 2 places as well, and those mediums already working out for him. And Yoda on the hards, he's making short work of a few people as well.
Man, oh man, is it ever intense on this lap. It has been a wild race start, to say the least, and Freeware, I have to say, he's going to have the biggest grin out of anybody, because he had the button, the big red button on the race start, and he hammered it right at the right time, because man, did we see a superlative launch coming out of the German. A 17.061 to open things up. Vincent and Kai wheel-to-wheel into turn 1 behind them. Noel and Brownie are still exchanging. It's wheel-to-wheel for Vincent and Kai. It's wheel-to-wheel for Dimitri and Neon just in front of them. It's wheel-to-wheel everywhere on this grid. And man, oh man, are the fights, are the battles ever coming hard and fast right now. Neon, a little bit of a tap. It's his home race. He has big expectations here. He's in 4th position now. He's made up 4 slots. Well, the timing tower is about to shake up, but we have a VSC deployed. And I'm not... Oh, it's Yaya is out of this race.
Yeah, it's crashed coming into turn 3. The first of 2 banked corners, obviously a little bit less intense than the first one. But oh my goodness, his car's facing into the track there. It's on board with Anhel. You just get a little look at it, but his car is facing inwards. The timing tower says Yaxiel is in lead. He is not. Freeware is still leading things. Yaxiel just come in for a pit stop there after his spin early on. But yeah, Yaya having a massive crash, it would seem, because not only is he out, but his car has hit the wall and then spun round, racing back, resuming to green, though only a VSC, and didn't get upgraded either. So that's pleasant, and we get back to green flag racing nice and quickly. And I don't
well, we might not be. There goes a big crash for Jake in the Alfa Romeo, just coming through into the iconic banking of 14. Massive damage, and now this is intense. He's had to come into the pit lane. You can see that there was a Red Bull there. I think that was blind. Wasn't sure what was going on. Jake has sped into the pit lane as well, and that's not good for him. Man, oh man, and that is very unfortunate. The curb there coming out of 13 has time and time and time again presented for these drivers so many issues. We have seen drivers spin there coming off of that curb so often, especially last week.
Oh, we saw it earlier today with George Russell. It catches him out in real life as well. So
Latifi as well. Yeah, it's bad.
it's a bad curb, and well, he's put a foot wrong there, and well, that's what happens. And he's lost his front wing, sped into the pit lane. I think that's because there were so many cars going out of that banking. He was just a bit worried there, and just sort of pushed into spinning a little bit. No one's fault, but really just feeling the pressure, I think, there for him. Is Luke Smith still on the rear of Yar here, still on the rear of Freeway. The timing tower, I don't think those timings are necessarily accurate, because by eye, I think Luke Smith is further away from Yar than Yar
getting a
is
little
from
bit of an
Freeway.
update. A little bit of an update now. Mitriu, speaking of updates, a 12.733 now the fastest run on circuit. He is the fastest car. It was a good lap from him.
Oh, Nolan Brownie, that's close. And it's onto the grass, and I don't think Noel will be happy about that. Brownie really not leaving a lot of space there. But didn't look like he moved from his line, but I don't think there was really any way Noel could have backed out of that one, as there's a yellow flag. It looks like
it's the same. It's Jake.
Crashed.
Oh
He's
my!
Crashed out of the final corner. It's safety car.
So now this is the second area where we have seen an absolute hot zone. We saw it with Disaster. Let's talk about Alfa Romeo for a second. We saw Disaster in qualifying of this race in the other car crash, where we currently have Jake's car on circuit. Now we have a full safety car deployed here on lap 4. This is not good. The heavy fuel coming out of that, there's a little bit of off-cameraing there where it can take your car. There's a little bit of elevation change. It's very, very weird coming out of that iconic banking. And we've seen drivers like Disaster crash, and now Jake crashed through there. It's just bad luck, and we're going to be under safety car conditions. What's the call? We're going to be looking at a lot of soft runners here. Freeware pulling off to that right-hand side. Yar. Freeware looked about it. He wanted to see maybe Yar follow him in. I don't know, but none of the soft runners in the top 10 coming in. And Disaster, let's talk about Disaster for a minute. This isn't too far off of how we saw things go for his race last week in Tier 4, where he took a podium. Except in that race, if I remember correctly, he came in on the initial safety car, had to run long. And that was, again, a 50% distance race. Things quite different when things are doubled here.
Yeah, well, he went, I think 27 laps on a set of mediums. Well, if you double that, as I do believe the game just straight flat halves things for the difference between 50% and 100% race. That means he could go 54 laps on a set of mediums, which is a little bit treacherous. You won't be able to get to the end on them here, but softs, they should be good for plenty more time. This is a 100% race. Again, the softs will scale, so they've still got plenty of life in them. They won't be feeling bad at all, I imagine. And again, they're now being preserved under safety car a bit, so I wonder whether we see a gamble for the soft medium one stop here. It would be a very long stretch, but if he can make it work, maybe. But given what we've seen, I don't think that will be viable in the long run, because I think we're going to see more safety cars. So I think,
yeah, I'm with you there.
I think everyone's just stick. I think that everyone has to stick, get off of the softs when they die, or on the next safety car if it's closer to the softs ending, and then just sticking out on mediums to the end, and that's the safety car, and then go to another set of mediums. And if we get another safety car, finish the race on softs, depending on where the safety car comes out and how long the tires can last. But I think that's going to be the thing. I don't think we'll see too many hards. We are seeing Angel hop onto some hards here, but as Brownie and Nola having exchanged down the start-finish straight, it would seem.
I don't know what's going on there. Very interesting. But one thing to mention, safety cars, you said we could get more safety cars. I agree with you. We have 6, if I'm not mistaken, safety cars at our disposal over the course of a 100% distance campaign. They give you 1 additional from what you would see in a 50% race. We've already utilized 2 of 6 of these, given we had the VSC, which did not convert on ahead into a full safety car, and now we are here on lap 6 following a full safety car, meaning that we could very well only have 4 other potential options or situations where we get a full safety car. Another thing that I have not, and I'm not sure if you have either, or if anybody viewing along can confirm, in the situations where a VSC is deployed and it is then upgraded to a full safety car, does that actually utilize 2 or 1 of those safety car of those safety cars that are available? That is a question that I haven't yet found the answer to.
No, I don't know I feel like the sensible answer surely is 1.
I would hope it's 1.
Because yeah, exactly. You wouldn't want it to take up 2, and also it's only 1 full course caution. You know, it's not 2 in terms of that. Obviously, it's technically 2 deployments, I guess you could argue, but realistically, it is only 1 full course caution. That's how I would measure it anyway. I think that's how, you know, you and I would hope it would be measured as we get ready to restart, and Freeway really dropping the pace here. So get ready for everything starting back up, and we'll see where he goes. But we saw a chaotic safety car restart earlier on this week, or not this week, last week. Time flies when you're having fun, but he's getting ready, I think, goes up into 3rd, but there he goes, floors it now out of the banking, and it's a great start for Neon, who's already putting pressure on Luke Smith. He's slipstreaming Yar here to try and get the Alpine down into turn 1 late on the brakes, but it's very early.
Neon on the inside of Yar! Neon's on the inside of Yar. I cannot believe he just did that. Yar's been mugged by not only Neon, but Luke Smith too, and Neon is on a charge here around home. Holy smokes, what a move there. And I have to say, on a safety car restart so early, that was one of the most daring moves I've ever seen around the Netherlands. Vincent, Kai, wow, I got a big grin on my face. Holy smokes.
Neon's awful.
No! No!
Oh, he's lucky to not be out of this race. Jeff, there's a crash behind him as well. What's happened there? There's an Alpha Tauri off its mat, and there's a McLaren with him. There's damage on the front wing of the Alpha Tauri. Neon's not got a front wing. The McLaren, what's he got? No damage there. And we're not seeing a yellow, well, we're seeing yellow flag. We're not seeing a safety car. We've got the Ferrari of Yagzion on Wisp side by side as they go down towards turn 11 here. And it's on the inside for Wisp. But I think Yags around the outside will just have the Red Bull here. And he does, unless Wisp can get an exit here into 13. And he doesn't, so he has to drop back. Oh my goodness, that was unbelievable. Like you mentioned, that move at the start, it wasn't really daring on Neon's part. Yar just seemed to break super early. Really early.
On the way into the pit lane right now. Wisp on the hunt for the Ferrari. The Red Bull looking for the inside. He does not send it forward door. Not too far behind on the rear of this, but Wisp still looking for an inside gap through on Yags. Nothing doing. What an unfortunate situation to find yourself in. Neon, a very good move there. It's a long race. There's tons of potential for more safety cars as this grid is still very tight. We've seen, of course, last week in the Netherlands, you don't necessarily need to be in a wheel-to-wheel exchange to produce a safety car. We saw it with Jake in this race in itself.
Yeah, he was at the back all by himself. Just, you know, one little mistake puts your car out of the race, and there's no off-track on the left-hand side. They're coming out of the banking, so if you hit that, or your car bounces towards it, it's just going to be on the track, and you really have to call a safety car as a result. Otherwise, everyone coming through the banking, it's a blind corner, really. You can't really see around it until you're, you know, on the exit. So there has to be a safety car. Hopefully we don't run out of safety cars, because if that was the case and we have someone crash there, it could be disastrous.
Oh yeah, big time. Kai on the rear, Vincent Nyquist right now looking for the outside, but there's not enough in it, and we've had another issue. As you mentioned it, Wisp is out of this race, and it is literally where you said, if we get too many of those, it could be bad. And are we going to see a safety car deployed as he is just outside on the racing line there?
He's just on the grass.
He's okay. Dimitriou going into the pit lane. Safety car has not come out. The yellow flag has disappeared. And so I imagine a few drivers counting themselves thankful for that.
Yeah, just on the grass there. That I wouldn't, because I still think that's, you know, in real life that would be definitely a safety car. But here in the game we could be a little bit more lenient, I guess. Luke Smith on the rear of Freeware. Great looking run here for the Alpine, but I don't think he's going to find his way through here on the German. But turn 1, he might have the opportunity he needs with Yar sitting on his gearbox with Freeware. What on earth? It looked like he was going to let the Alpine go through. I think it's just a bad exit. And now Yar, I don't think Luke Smith was expecting this, because Yar is looking all over the gearbox of the Alpine now as they run down towards turn 1. What happens? Yar's got a great exit. Luke Smith, they're going to go 3 wide. This is absolutely treacherous in F1 cars. They're way too big for this. Freeware loses out not 1, but 2 position. Luke Smith is still side by side with the Spaniard, who has to back out as they come through, and he spins.
Freeware. Oh, he tried so hard there, Freeware. He did. I have to say, he got on the brake. What a synchronized spin from these guys. Man, pat yourselves on the back. But man, did he ever try to get out and get on the brake there.
Yeah, I think the synchronized spin, the only highlight that will come out from about the Moneras. Freeways crash.
No! No, no, no. That's huge. Safety car? Big question. Larson. Oh my god.
For a second there, I thought he was going to crash into Freeware's car, but it's the wrong corner. Climbing up a different hill with the elevation changes here, but Freeware out. He's the 4th retirement in just 10 laps. No safety car though, no VSC, so we keep a couple in reserve.
This race has really given us some interesting dynamics. Vincent Nyquist is going to give us a gap now to Luke. Look at this. Kai pushing up the outside of the Ferrari. Oh, wow. There wasn't anything that the Ferrari could do there. Nothing in it. Nice DRS utilization.
Yeah, nice to see someone going for the outside as well. A lot of times you see someone just trying to stick their nose up the inside when they've got the DRS, but Kai there, just happy with the pace, slotted it around the outside. Beautiful move and just came across when it was, nice space behind him. Just very clean overtake. Didn't look, super dramatic like we saw earlier on with Neon at the inside, but just so effective. And, well, he'll be happy with that. But like you mentioned, Luke Smith with his 2 rivals now, well, obviously Freeware's out and, well, Yara is all the way down in 9th. He has really got a lot of breathing room behind him. That's going to be, brilliant for when we get into the pit.
Yar, on the inside. He's going to take 4-door sedan and he's going to try and hunt down Yoda, who's on the hards. Neat move there. Sorry to interrupt you there, Unicorn. Vincent now, he's sticking with Kai, and we've seen them do the tango.
Yeah, and there's a couple of drivers right now. Brownie's up 7, Disaster's up 9, and Yoda's up 12, Striff. He's sitting in 7th place on those hards. We weren't sure whether this was the right move. I imagine Yai here on the softs is going to dispatch him pretty quickly, but still, brilliant drive so far from the Albanian. Kai getting a little bit sideways out of turn 1. Starting to feel the pressure as he leads this train.
And it's a big train. It really is. Disaster's here, Knowles here, Brownie's here. Vincent, the driver that's looking to try and maybe take leadership of this unit. They are on the rear of Yoda. We saw a moment ago he overtook 4-door. Right now things looking tight between the hard runner and soft runner. 2/10 the separation as Brownie is in the same separation on the rear of Vincent Nyquist. However, a section of circuit where you don't see too much. Yar so tight to Yoda. Do we see anything up the inside here? He does not have the best run through on the rear of the Haas. Switch things back on over to Vincent Nyquist as we come down through turns 11 and 12.
Yeah, this just goes to prove how difficult it is to overtake around here. Obviously, we saw Yar go up the inside into turn 9, 1 or 2 laps ago. But here, he's got Yoda ahead of him on the hards. He's having a bit of problem through 11 and 12. And that really brings the Williams right onto his gearbox. But we have to focus our attention up the front as Vincent's going up the inside. Brownie's looking for it. And as a result of not him lunging up the inside, Noel's looking for him around the outside. Vincent goes P2. Kai's still holding on to P3. Brownie sticks at P4, but they are all so close. Yard does get Yoda down way before turn 1. Those softs are really carrying pace out of the final corner. But my oh my, this battle for P2 is absolutely unbelievable. Noel, is he going to find something through into turn 7 here? It's bold, it's risky, but is he going to try it? Yes, he is.
Oh my god, that was not, no! That was a huge crash. Noel is most definitely out of this race. That was most definitely not on, and he is out of this race, and that is what risks get you, ladies and gentlemen. That was just not the place to stick your front end. And who was it that went into him?
Disaster.
That was so unfortunate now. Disaster. No front end on the Alfa Romeo. Did he stand a chance? Surely not. Safety car has been deployed.
I said it at the start of this race. You've got the turning opportunity, you've got the overtake opportunity into turn 1. You've got maybe into turn 11, and if you're bold enough, turn 7. And that's why you've got to be bold enough into turn 7, because Noel really didn't commit early enough. He thought about it, he didn't go for it, which means, no one's expecting at that point. Kai's not expecting him to go up the inside late, and then he's already taken the corner. As a result, just shuts off, puts Noel on the curb, and he spins as Demetriou. Well, he's still in the race, so hopefully we can get him back in here quickly. But yeah, Noel, just a slight misjudgment there from the Swede.
All right. What a race here. Brownie, Yoda. You see Yoda, he comes out. 9th position. He's gained so much. Brownie, well, he's made up 10 places. Luke Smith, fresh tires with Vincent Kai behind him. Vordor's there to create a little bit of a speed bump for the fresh medium runners. Disaster recovers to 7th position with a new front wing after all things said and considered. Horrible crash there to see him involved with Noel. I just think that that's a learning experience at the end for Noel. I just don't think that, and especially learning with the drivers you're with, Brownie, he is not, he's a very fair driver. He's a very hard racer, fast racer, experienced. Noel, I don't think if it was me knowing Brownie, of course, you and I have watched so many races with him. Us knowing him, neither of us would have put the front end there. I think that it's just there's far better opportunities. It's a long race.
Yeah, Noel had it earlier on with Brownie, where they came side by side at turn 1, and Brownie wasn't giving him an inch on the outside, and he had to back out. So he had that experience with him earlier on in the race, and now that he'll look back on it, I think he'll see that as a little bit of a mistake there. But he did have that, prior warning, shall we say, earlier in the race. But yeah, just a bit of a misjudgment there, under safety car again, and he will be kicking himself, I should think. But he's come across in chat saying, of course, he's learning the new brakes as well, and
yeah,
the ABS, all of that. Just a little bit of misjudgment. Very, very tough early on in this race. And while we're under safety car, everyone but Matt's right now rejoined to the rear of it, and I think he will catch.
I just watched that. An end plate just came off the Williams.
Well, that was a bit of a bunching on the track map.
Well, he took one going into the rear. Disaster. That front left now needs to get changed over.
Well, if the safety car comes in now, which I expect it to, that's going to be awful news for him. Yep, there you go.
Oh, that's real bad.
That's going to chuck him right at the bottom with no hope of catching up until the next safety car.
Should we get one? Which is
I think it's pretty inevitable at this point. We're 15 laps in. We've had 2. We've got 4. Well, we've had 3 if you the VSC, so we're already halfway through, and we're not even a quarter of the way into the race. So I don't know what happens when we do run out, because that could be dangerous.
You ever been to Monaco?
Not lie.
We've been there before.
We go. Ford or Kai side by side into turn 1 with a side by side battle going on behind them as well. Angel didn't come into the pits. It was in the Williams. I've got the wrong Williams, but he is fighting off on the hards with Disaster, who is looking up his inside. There's a little bit of a wheel bang between the pair of them, and Angel might not lose out 1, but twice, because Yoda was having a look there. Isn't able to squeeze past here in the Haas. He's got Yagziel all over him on the rear, but he's not going to find a way through either. But maybe he will on the inside coming out of 7. That is how you do a move through there. That is absolutely beautiful racing from the Ferrari. Perfectly judged. Just saw Yoda being a bit champion, but catches the inside curving as he comes out of 9. And that almost lost the position. He worked so hard to take there on the safety car restart. Here goes Angel up the inside of Disaster here. 10 lap hold hards. He is still putting in a real hard charge here and takes the Alfa Romeo very, very nicely into turn 11.
Brownie.
Disaster, he's having troubles here.
Yeah, it's not good for him there at all. Brownie still leading this race with Luke Smith in the rearview mirrors as Vincent hunts him down as well. Kai within 3/10. No one pushing too hard just yet, with the exception of Yags. Well, excuse me, it's a Disaster coming into the pit lane, and it's unfortunate to see that. See what happens over there. Not sure if there's wing damage or anything, but he could be done with these tires as Yagswell Yoda now wheel to wheel out of turn 1, now through 2. Now we come through turn 3. Yagswell is through on the fresher medium runner, Mr. Yoda, but I'm sure Yoda not done with him just yet. Pace showing very well coming out of the Ferrari, though. Both Ferraris, to say the least, as Vincent is in 3rd position. Disaster onto the hards.
Yeah, fresh wing as well, plus a 5 seconds for speeding earlier. So he had to serve that. So a really long pit stop there for the Alfa Romeo. But yeah, it was a wing change. It was invisible for us. Neon off in the gravel trap. He really just didn't. Car just didn't turn in there for him.
Well, that's never good.
I don't know what happened there. He turned his wheel, but the car just did not follow.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate. This is his home Grand Prix. He had an absolutely, and I have to say it with emphasis, stellar move earlier in this race, and then it unfolded not so well and very shortly after. But I think it'll definitely be a move he can be happy with. Right now it's Dimitriou looking for Blind. And here we go now, Blind on the outside. As we come through turn 1, it's the McLaren on the inside. Dimitriou still there, good exit. Nothing doing just yet. Fronts to rears for the McLaren. A bit of a drift coming out of the Red Bull, and he holds it in 10th.
Awesome defense there from Blind. It's one of those corners where you have to get the line right, because if you don't, you're going to get caught out on the exit. It's a bit like Mexico turn 4. We've seen that where defending around the outside a lot of times doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but the exit is so important there to give you the best traction into the next few corners that sometimes if you can hold the outside line without letting the person get fully side by side, it will let you hold on to the position. Blind did that perfectly, keeps turn P10. Dimitriou struggling a little bit. I think maybe in the dirty air as he follows the Red Bull. Matt starting to catch up to this fight as well now in the Alpha Tauri. So we'll see what he's able to muster. Obviously, he was a bit far down a few moments ago. The safety cars brought him back into contention a little bit. And we've got these pockets of drivers. We've got really 3 pockets of drivers. We've got the front 4, then we've got the 5 behind them. These 3 fighting for 10th place, and then the back 3 who have had to pit for various reasons. Here goes Dimitriou.
Ooh, 4-door, hold the phone up the inside of Onel. He gets it done, and as you mentioned, Blind and Dimitriou have their exchange, and wow, some great racing, some tight racing here.
Yeah, very, very, clear-cut move for the McLaren. No real difficulties. What's happened? It's out of the final turn again, and Yar's out. It's the 3rd retirement through there. Where is that car? Well, it's right in the middle of the track, just on the pit entrance.
The safety cars.
Disaster, yeah. Yeah, you can see that Neon is right on board with him. It's right in the way, and Neon is going to hop straight into the pit lane. I wonder what he's going to go for here, though, because he's already on fresh mediums. He's soft, so yeah. So
he wants to play. Okay, so he's going to play position then, and fight through the grid with the fresh rubber. But what do the drivers in front of him do? He wants the fresh rubber to fight through the grid and the safety car restart. But Brownie surely comes in here.
Yeah, Brownie, Arnhel, 4-door, I should think will all come in. Maybe Larson. Dimitriou, Matt, Blind, I think will either all come in or none of them. I guess you can lump Larson in with that as well. All come in or none of them. Blind's a little bit far off, but Brownie staying out. That is a bold call from the German. Those mediums will go a lot longer than this. Larson is in. 4-door sedan in as well. Sorry, it was 4-door who came in. Larson never pitted, it would seem. 4-door's going for the soft as well, so he's looking to carve a way through again.
What a These endurance races have always provided such entertainment, I have to say, especially for you and I as a commentator. You come into these, they're always entertaining, I have to say. Some of what you see, and it's crazy because you race and I race, and you see things that you wouldn't think of doing in a million years in certain situations. And then sometimes those things will come out and you're like, how's that gone and worked now? How has that gone and brought this driver some success or some positions? And some of these guys, they just find their way. They find their way into the points. They find their way into the good luck. Look at Yoda. I mean, he gambled those hards, right? He was at the back of this train when we began, and he's now made his way up the 7th position. He's on a 5-lap old mediums. He's got a very good tire.
Yeah, and you've also got, you got Brownie up there in, in first. He's 10 places up from where he was. Larson as well, same as Yoda, 12 places up. And they've just been playing the safety car very well here. You've got Brownie right now leading things, 19-lap old mediums. He knows they can go further. He knows track position is key at this track. So no point of putting now under this safety car. He could have done, I think, gone for another set of mediums, take a different route. But at the same time, staying out here, it works because those tires can go further. They've been preserved on the safety car. He hasn't been doing too much wheel to wheel because he's been in lead of things. He's just got to keep these guys at bay. But even then, track position, he's not going to slip down too far because you saw it there. He had the pace to lead a train out of the rest of the pack. There was the top 5 really broke away with him. Angel might struggle here on the hard, so it might be the top 4. And Brownie's happy to sit with these 3, Luke Smith, Vincent, and Kai, because they're on faster tires than him. If he can stay with them, that's a brilliant strategy for him because, well, he could just go to soft at some point at the end, I should think. Possibly pull off a 1-stop. It would be a bit tricky and would require a well-timed safety car, I think. And with how quickly we're going through them, we might not see well-timed safety cars at the end of things. And I suspect Brownie, if he's got a racer to do, they will be counting, because when that last safety car comes in or comes out, if we do see 6, which right now it does look like we will, I think we'll see a lot more pit stops then. And it'll be mediums for the drivers who can go to them. And for those who can't, maybe they go to softs just for the pit stop. But safety car is coming in, and we'll go green flag again on lap 22 of 72. There's still 50 laps left in this race, or 51. And we've already lost 6 drivers. And a lot of them have been coming out of the last corner strip.
It has been a lot of crashes coming out of that 14 banking, I have to say. And I mean, we saw it with Yar. We saw it with Jake. Who else did we lose there? Wisp.
Yeah, Wisp. Well, there goes Brownie, and it's a good start for him. And let's see what's going on behind Vincent. Not quite able to get through. There's another yellow flag. I don't think there's been a crash, but Neon looking up the inside of Blind, who's very wide through turn 1, and Disaster's going to get him as well down at the bottom there.
You think there could be temperatures on the tires maybe costing Blind right now? 13 lap old mediums? I don't know.
Neon around the outside of 3. He's really charging through this grid strip.
Larson, speaking of charging, sitting on the rear of Yoda. Yoda with the better tires, but it's less than 2/10 the separation right now. Yag's ahead of them in 6th with a disconnection. At the very least, as far as the onboard is showing me for Larson. Matt and Neon, well, he said he's going to have some fun. He's having some fun right now. He's pushed through so many positions as Yoda is going to take advantage of this disconnected car with Larson. Dimitriou there, not too close to take advantage just yet. Neon on the rear of Dimitriou is going to be pushing with everything he's got, and he'll be seeing that AI car just the same as Luke Smith. Does he have enough speed in these medium compound tires, which are literally a third of the age of Brownie's? Big snap. Oh, no.
That's another safety car, and I am not surprised we've got 2 cars completely stationary in the middle of the banking.
Wow.
And I was on board with Neon there,
Wow.
just trying to go around the outside of turn 13. And I don't know whether Dimitri didn't see him, didn't want to give him the space, but they had their wheels locked. They both just did not want to give an inch of room. No one was backing out. Side by side, straight into the wall. But both cars retired terminally, and that is unfortunate. Drop down to 12 cars here on lap 23.
Very unfortunate circumstance to find ourselves in here.
Yeah, we were, well, safety cars. This is 5th, the 5th safety car, I do believe. I don't think we've hit the limit just yet, but we're approaching it pretty quickly. We're in lap 23, and the safety car waiting to collect Brownie again, who didn't drop anything last safety car restart. I imagine he doesn't plan to change that this time around. He got a great launch last time. The only problem he has is Luke Smith has that restart fresh in his mind, knows exactly what Brownie did. So either Brownie has to change up his game, or he has to, just hope that he can execute it again, but Luke Smith might be anticipating it.
Really, hats off to Brownie. He's had all these opportunities to come into the pit lane. He's just like, nah, I'm good. 23 lap old mediums. I'm good. You know?
I mean, like I said, at this point, he's just going to take the track position. If we keep getting safety cars like this, obviously, I think we're running out of them now, but they will, help maintain it as well. Because even if he started to drop off a bit, a safety car just freezes you in place. So, and right now it's freezing him in P1. So, nothing really that he needs to do. Like I say, it gets tricky for him because if we do reach 6, quickly, then what does he do? He won't get a free pit stop at that point. He won't be able to pit out of the safety car unless he goes for the hards to the end. And he could do that for the 1 stop, but I expect him to stay out again and just fight for track position on his pace. And we know he's quick. We just saw him in Champions come 4th. So I reckon he'll keep staying out for quite some time. Maybe go for another set of mediums and then a set of softs at the end, or softs to get rid of the tire compound and then go to mediums at the end, or maybe medium soft. He's got a lot of options in that Haas car, and we'll see just what he does with them. But right now he's comfortable in lead of things.
Alrighty, here we look at the position changes. I mean, everybody except Yags has gained positions and Luke. I don't think for some of these drivers it's possible to lose positions anymore.
At this point, a lot of them on the same sort of strategy. Angel, well, we'll see where he lands. He's done pretty well holding that sort of position in that midfield right there on these hards. And the question begs, how long can he take those? Because I think he could get to the end with just 1 more pit stop onto a set of softs, and that could be very, very powerful if everyone else has to do maybe 2 stops for 2 sets of softs, etc., or soft medium. Whereas if he ends this on softs, just 1 set, could bring him up the grid a little bit. As
how did that happen? Angel has taken a penalty.
Well, Yoda's leading the race.
I know. What?
And that's not just the timing tag. He's actually there. He is in lead of the race.
You're kidding.
Well, we are going green, and it's a Haas 1-2. Kai and Vincent are going to fight it out. Brownie losing out to Luke Smith as well. It's side by side a lot down into turn 1.
Hasn't lost
I
just
don't
yet.
quite know what's happened here.
Brownie's still holding with his teammate Yoda right now. Luke, a bit of a tap coming from Vincent on the rear of the Alpine.
Brownie going on the inside. Yoda giving back the positions, and you love to see it.
Well, he's confused
trying to give them back
the
as
same,
quickly
I
as possible. Yoda's been around for a long time. He's a very respectful driver. Doesn't want those, unfairly given positions. Here goes Matt and Blind side by side. Blind on the inside on those fresh softs. Very nicely done move there. And Matt's under more pressure from the Alpine of 4-door sedan. It looks like Matt's got damage. He does. He's missing an end plate on the left-hand side there. So he could chop even further here. This could bring Disaster and Yagsio back up into the points. With Disaster with a time penalty.
What a situation to find yourself in. You're leading the race suddenly. And you've got to drop these positions and give them back. And now Brownie under threat from Luke Smith. We have Matt and Disaster having an exchange as Disaster moves through into 10th position. Matt, as you mentioned, with damage. Yagsio will also move through. And we have 12 drivers remaining in the session. Matt might just make it 11 with a 5-second speeding penalty. And usually with us that signifies a retirement. But given how long of a race it is, we're just about at that halfway point. Well, about 10 laps and we'll be at the halfway point.
Well, he's coming out of the pit box and he hasn't retired, and credit to him. I think it was just a mistake speeding into the pit lane because he is back out onto the track. And you love to see it. Not giving up. And like you mentioned, just at this point, points are very much on the table for anyone who finishes.
Yeah.
Because I expect we will see at least one more retirement, and I'm being generous there. But everyone's done well to get this far.
I can hear the enthusiasm as you say that, you know.
I don't want it to happen, but I expect it to happen. We're not even at a 50% distance yet. We're 36 laps on a regular day at Zandvoort. We're on 27, and we've lost 8 drivers, but hopefully we can keep it as close to that as possible. The front 4 again splitting off. This is what we were saying about Brownie's track position. He's in a brilliant spot right now. Really nice, just controlling the pace of the race. He's using a lot of ERS. I think Luke Smith is going to get him sooner rather than later, but even then, just controlling the pace as nicely as he is, and Luke Smith will give him DRS. Obviously, around this track, it's not as useful as it is in Russia, where we just seen the Champions race, and I know Brownie did very well there too. But right now, just managing this to the end, keeping the strategy on your mind, because obviously all these safety cars, you've got to think about your long-term strategy in the endurance races. You can't be making the knee-jerk reactions to things. There's, oh my goodness, Kai looked up the inside of Vincent there. There really wasn't a lot of spacey. And it cost him and Vincent a few positions, but thankfully managed to get out of the way. But it has cost him time to the Ferrari. But yeah, you really have to think long-term in these endurance races, and Brownie's been doing that very well so far, but he needs to make sure he's got enough battery left in the tank for the rest of this race, because holding Luke Smith at bay, or Luke Smith, you know, one of the fastest drivers left on this grid, and here he goes, fastest lap and up the inside into turn 1. It's a little late, and I think Brownie's going to hold this again, and he does. Really not too much effort there from Brownie either. Just stuck it in the middle of the track, knew exactly where to position the car and stop Luke Smith having any hope of coming through there on the inside, and denied the outside as well. Brownie, just superlative defensive driving from the German.
The problem with that inside, if you are Luke Smith, is that curb. And you could see Luke dancing between the curb and Brownie, and it was a question of, I do not want to get on this curb. Okay? And Brownie, given his car positioning in that moment, had the perfect advantage, because it was either you sit where you are and let me move through ahead of you, Luke, or say hi to the curb. And this is where we find ourselves now on the way into 11-12. Brownie, again, he's going to hold this position coming through 13 and 14. Luke needs to have a very good exit coming out of this iconic banking. If he doesn't have that exit, if he doesn't get himself in prime position, Brownie surely will maybe try and do the exact same thing here. Brownie now pushing to this inside. He wants the inside this time. He's going to force Luke now outside. A bit of a squeeze here. Brownie, a little bit of a coast through the turn as he gets off the brake, and he's just going to squeeze now. Luke really can't be on these curbs, because these curbs, Brownie is pushing him to use these curbs, and he's doing it differently lap after lap, and this is what he needs to keep doing. Keep Luke guessing. What am I going to do? Where are you going to get caught? What's going to happen? And Luke Smith's going to get fed up, and I think his key to success and his key to pass here, or his key to victory, if you will, is going to be surpassing Brownie through into the 11-12 right-hander. Larson, has had an issue. Very unfortunate for the Mercedes, but he is still going, and it doesn't look like he has any visible damage. And now Luke, again on the rear. Brownie, nothing doing just yet into 11-12. Brownie putting that car where he needs to. I'm curious to see where he puts it the next time, as Angel pushes it in front of Yoda. What's happened behind them? I heard. Wait a minute. Kai's out of this race.
And there it is. That might be our last safety car that the FIA gives us. Well, that's going to save Brownie for 1 or 2 more laps, and it's going to recharge his battery as well, Striff.
Yeah, he's been burning battery. He's been able to fend off all of these racers, and man, has he ever put in a stint on the medium.
And, well, those mediums will, we saw Disaster put in, I think, 27 laps, if I'm not mistaken, in the normal race in Tier 4 last week here at Zandvoort. Now, if we double that, it goes to 54. I don't expect Brownie to take them quite that far. Although, to be honest, if he did, like I mentioned earlier, he could potentially one-stop for the softs. It would be a bit of a stretch, but it would be possible, I think.
Well, when you think about here's the thing. We've had, what is this, our 4th safety car? Or 5th?
I think it's our 5th full safety car with 6 if you include the VSC at the start.
So if you take into consideration the fact that he's done 30 laps on these medium compound tires, he's done a ton of safety car running. A ton of it. What do you think these tires are realistically at? What is their range? And then, you know, that's a big question. He's made it almost a full 50% race on those tires. And I think that we might be able to see a one-stop here.
Yeah, I think at least a quarter of that tire's life is on safety car or under safety car. So, like you say, they've been preserved a little bit.
Good to see Yoda back in.
He's disconnected under the safety car, I think. I don't think he disconnected before. Hopefully not.
Yeah, he's back in now. You can see the desync coming into the timing tower. Usually whenever you see a timing tower disappear with the what has happened now? Oh, man. I don't know if that was with Yoda rejoining. I think it was the rejoin. Yoda coming back into his car there.
Yeah, very unfortunate to see these things. And Luke Smith nearly lost it coming out of turn 3. Just a bit heavy on the throttle. Nearly spun his car out. It didn't quite, but these things starting to creep into people's game. And Luke Smith, Brownie, they were both in that Champions race a moment ago, so they've been driving for a long time now. And if anyone was warming up before this, they've all been racing for quite some time. And here we go, we are going back green, and that might be our last safety car. I don't know if we've got any left in the tank, but I think we might well need them again. Whether Bird Minelander comes back out, well, let's yet to see.
31 laps, soon to be 32 laps for this tire for Brownie, as we are about to begin green flag racing for the 5th, 6th, 7th, I don't know at this point. We're about to begin green flag racing again. Here we go. Ooh, he got Luke there. He got him good.
Yeah, and Vincent and Anhau are going to go side by side into turn 1. The Williams on the inside, but he's on the hard combat tires. Does not have the traction to compete with Vincent around the outside. Matt and Larson exchange in the Alfa Tauri, getting up into 9th place. And into turn 3.
Matt!
Yoda's on the outside. Matt's on the inside, like you mentioned there. That's a huge line just slammed into Fordor's car. Luckily, we don't have sidewire damage enabled, because that would have been a huge blow to the Alpine.
That was wild coming out of the Alfa Tauri there, and I'm thankful. I hope nobody got damaged. It didn't look like any debris came off of cars. Brownie. Good restart from him. A really good restart from him. Catching Luke well.
And he just needs to keep controlling the pace like he is now. He is doing a superb job in P1. And he really hasn't looked like he's under too much pressure. He is, losing as Matt's out. Matt's out. He's lost it out of the same corner. The final corner claims yet another. Well, we've got another safety car. Our track map lights up yellow for goodness knows what time.
Hey. I mean, can I ask a question? I'm going to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, maybe you can answer it for me. How many crashes out of turn 14 in the Netherlands does it take for the PSA to come across the MFD to say, caution, take special care out of turn 14. Multiple drivers have died coming out of the turn.
Yeah, it's a wild turn. It's, it's not even just out of it, it's into it. We've lost, let's go the list. We lost Matt out of it. Of course, Kai was out of turn 12. So Demetrio and Neil were going into the banking. So out of 13, I think we lost him out of the final corner. Freeware crashed into turn 6, I think. So he's exempt. Wisps crashed out of the final corner. Jake crashed out of the final corner. And Yaya, that was a while ago, and it slips my mind where he retired, but hopefully I got the rest of those right, and we saw in qualifying as well, even drivers like Disaster, who's still in this race, he crashed there in qualifying as Yoda pops into the pit lane. He is getting off of these softs, and I'm assuming he's going to take mediums to the end, and I think that is a smart call as we get to the end of the safety cars. We thought we were out now. We've got one more. If we get an extra one, well, maybe Yoda will be able to dart through with everyone else pitting. We would expect to see that. Brownie, of course, starting this race on those mediums. Can't go to them again if he wants to finish the race on the compound that he pits to. But here we are. We're down. We're halfway into the race pretty much. And we're down to half the drivers. So if we keep going at this rate, we'll have maybe one driver at the end. But hopefully we'll get a few drivers make it all the way.
Well, it's been a very dynamic race, to say the least, as we have had safety cars come out lap after lap. It feels like it. It really does feel like it at this point. I mean, we've had bursts of great racing, tight overtakes, but everybody, I'd say majority of our retirements this evening, really struggling on the exit out of that turn 14. Brownie now 34 laps, soon to be 35, leading us on a safety car restart for, I think it's the 5th time that he has led the restart. Maybe 4th time for him in this campaign.
Yeah, I struggle to remember each and every one, but yeah, he has been in the lead and he thoroughly deserves it. He has been, brilliant. It'd be interesting to see who wins this race at the end of it, but he's really slowing things down. There he goes. I don't think he's caught anyone out this time. Luke Smith is right on his rear, and this time is pushing with everything he's got. Can he find the move? He knows he needs to get it done quickly. He's going to try it around the outside and now aim for the switchback, but Brownie, well, he's positioned that car perfectly. Vincent Nightvis looks for P2, doesn't find that, but my goodness, this has been, if there's one thing about a lot of safety cars, we have had a lot of good safety car restarts, and these 3 up front, and everyone else have been provided some good action there. But look how quickly they've already broken away, Striff. Here goes Larson, 4-door, Disaster. They're all fighting away in this mid-pack. I say the mid-pack, it's now sort of the lower end of the field. But some great battling through these early portions of the track. And I think coming straight out of a week where we did Zandvoort, last week, everyone knows where they can and can't overtake, and they all feel very comfortable with the track. Whereas sometimes with endurance, people focus on the league racing, where the calendar's at there. This one, they come into it nice and prepared.
Looking at Disaster, and he has been for a few turns now. Very tight between these two, as it's fresh softs in it behind the hard runner. I want to jump on with Luke now as he hunts down Brownie. No DRS yet. Hasn't been for a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he's using the ERS here as aggressively as he is, because there was never any way he was going to get through there. He was too far back. Larson, on the other hand, well, he is right on the inside of Disaster and finds a way through the softs versus the hards there. Make the inside possible. And that's the kind of traction advantage you need to get through on the inside of turn 1. Otherwise, it really is a hard overtake. Disaster shaking now.
Here's
as he
Yoda
comes
right behind.
out of 3.
Yoda right behind, dispatching 4-door sedan on the very fresh mediums. Disaster is under threat now from the Haas as well. We jump to Larson, who's very tight to the rear of Blind as we come down and out of the hill. Blind on the inside, Larson on the inside of Blind. Blind's not going to have the inside through the left-hander of turn 10.
I gotta say, Chef, Yoda's move there was absolutely incredible. I was on board with 4-door sedan and just did not see him coming, so I imagine 4-door didn't see it either. Obviously, he'll have the proximity marker, presumably, but Yoda just set up his inside like he wasn't there. Just a superb move through that tricky section, coming up through 4, 5, and 6. So a big pat on the back there for the Haas driver as we go down into turn one. Blind lags backwards into Disaster. I'm assuming you saw that as well.
Oh, yeah, I did. That was really scary. That was really scary.
Nothing comes of it, thankfully, and well, they continue on racing, but that could have been monstrous considering how close Yoda and four-door sedan are to the behind of these two. So a 4-car pile-up with just 10 cars left in the race would not be what we are looking for.
Disaster on the rear blind. Blind's been struggling on the 14-lap old softs. Now we saw Larson dispatch Disaster on the fresh softs, but of course Disaster can't take too long on the rear of the Red Bull because he has Yoda there in the Haas looking at him right now. Blind, a little bit of an issue. This has really given Disaster and Yoda maybe an opportunity. Well, it's an opportunity for Yoda. Look at this now. He's going to clear the Alfa Romeo. Blind is now under threat. Yoda with the DRS pushing to the inside now. Blind look to defend it. There's a little bit of wheel rubbing here. Yoda is there. A little bit of contact from Yoda defending off Disaster. I don't think it was intentional, of course, but my oh my, are we seeing some tough racing, and four-door is here as well. Blind is sitting duck surely now as Yoda following him through into 6th position. Luke Smith and Brownie tight, but of course there goes Yoda. Where's Disaster? Nothing doing just yet. We jump back to Luke Smith and Brownie.
Ooh. Blind hit the inside curb, forced Disaster to make evasive maneuvers, and four-door takes advantage of Disaster at least. Sorry to interrupt you, but Blind, well, that nearly was the 3-car pile-up that we were dreading a moment ago. And actually, from his mistake, Blind actually wins out the most out of everyone, I think. Well, I guess four-door sedan as well, picking up the place, but loses a bit of time to the Red Bull. And Yoda, well, he's miles ahead as a result now, and in no man's land. And my goodness, that was a scary moment for the three of them.
It really was. Luke Smith pushing Brownie. DRS utilization right now. Nothing doing just yet, but we have seen them dance lap after lap. We're about to start lap 40 of the 722 lap campaign, and Luke Smith, does he have enough of an exit here? Look, he's getting so much speed carried up just coming out of the exit now on the inside. There's surely nothing that Brownie can do here. He's been having a defensive race today, a stellar drive, but Luke now bringing the tires ahead, and it is finally first position leading the race for Luke.
Yeah, and I think he can do now what Brownie's been doing the whole race, just comfortably lead. Luke has been in lead of things, I think, earlier on in the campaign, came in for a pit stop, and now is going to use Brownie as a little bit of a buffer to Vincent. Break away whilst it's a very tricky time to overtake. Vincent will need to get past Brownie, preferably into turn one at the start of the next lap, but if he doesn't, that's going to give Luke so much breathing room behind to just control the pace, charge up the battery a little bit, manage his pace, manage his battery, and really just, he's in the best position. Yoda as well, though. Yoda can go to the end now on these tires.
I think both Haas are in very good
problem.
position.
Oh, but yeah, Brownie has to pit at some point, but so do the two cars around him. I don't think.
Well, I think Blind needs to pit again. Sedan needs to pit again. I think that you have Yags who will have to. I think anybody that's on the softs right now is coming in, without a doubt in my mind. Angel needs to come in still. Larson, Angel. Well, right now there's a fight brewing between the soft runner and the hard runner, and it's Larson on the outside of Angel. We push through turn 2. This has been giving us some interesting situations as Larson, Angel still wheel to wheel. Larson pushing through 4th position now for him. Great battle there.
Yeah, and Blind four-door as well. You know, there's been a surprising amount of exchanging in a race around Zandvoort. You don't always see too much wheel to wheel, but today the drivers have delivered. And of course, there have been their trials and tribulations at some point, but the drivers are still in it, very much pushing and, you know, just having fun out there. And that's what you want to see, the drivers having fun, because when they have fun, everyone watching, we enjoy it, they enjoy it. And it's a win-win situation for everyone. And wheel-to-wheel action has just been superb. It's just a shame we don't have a few more cars on track to partake. But things are starting to separate out a little bit at the front. Disaster having a little bit of a problem coming out of turn 12. But I don't think it's going to drop him off because he's going to have DRS. He's got a lot of battery to push with as well to catch back up to four-door and Blind as well. leading this train. He's running out of battery, so he is going to be assisting Duck, and it might be this lap as four-door sedan brakes late, tries to find it around the outside on those softs. Will they give him any edge? No, because blinds are fresher, and he's got that just a better line on the exit there. Four-door just too wide, just too late around the outside. You have to be more alongside. Disaster again having a big problem. Snaps out of turn 3. And, well, he did well to keep that out of the wall. Loses out to Yaxiol.
That's an area of circuit where you can see the driver lose it and really snap it back into a wall.
Speaking of losing it,
yeah, unfortunate there for the Mercedes. Yoda through into 5th now. What a race it's been for Yoda, all things said and considered, making up 14 positions with Larsen as well from where they began.
Well, there's only one driver here who hasn't made positions. He's Yaxiol. He's down 6. Everyone else, well, 4 of them have double digits, and you got Brownie up 9. You got Forder up 8. It's been this is exactly what we said at the start, Striff. If you make it to the end of this race, you're in for a good ride. Well, he's not going to make it to the end of this.
Well, he just might.
His car's still in it.
He's still here. He's still going. I don't think he's Oh man, what a shunt that was.
I don't think he's got any damage either, because he hit both his right-hand wheels. He hit his rear right and then his front right, and neither of them came off. As Angel and Yoda apparently exchanged, but they're miles apart.
No, I don't think that can't be correct.
Timing trickery.
Well, Yoda will be hunting him down very soon. I think that we'll see an exchange, but it isn't yet, unless there was something with Yoda's connection again, which is something we saw earlier. But I don't think that is the case.
Yeah, I think it's just some sort of timing tower trickery there, but Disaster on the rear of four-door sedan. He's going to put pressure on the Alpine down into turn 1. And again, the timing tie here playing tricks with the distances. So I wonder whether four-door is actually within DRS range of Yaxiol. That will be sort of on the borderline of 1 second. I think he might be out of it here. And he is. He does not have DRS. Disaster does. And there it is. It's 1.1 seconds the gap.
This is really going to hurt four-door too. It's going to be so tough to get back into that DRS fighting range with such worn tires, and Disaster is going to have the better tires than four-door. And I think, well, anyone on these softs soon enough, as those tires continue to tick down the laps, the hard tire is the long run tire and not the softs. And so we'll have to see what Disaster's got in him. He's had such a dynamic up and down race. Some things have really been thrown at him, and you hate to see it, but he has persevered and he has pushed nonetheless.
And talking of persevering, you know, Brownie's stint 43 laps on those mediums, I think is about to come to a close. I think within the next 8 laps, so 10 minutes, I think he's got left on those tires maximum.
I think as soon as he drops DRS on Luke, he's out. I think as soon as he drops DRS on Luke, he's in.
Yeah, you don't want to put too much pressure on the softs at the end. I think a comfortable step would be 20 as Disaster nearly loses it. Coming through 13, we've seen that a number of times, manages to catch it. But yeah, I think that anywhere from about lap 49 would be a pretty decent pit stop for Brownie. I think lap 52 would be ideal if he can stay within DRS range. Then I don't think he will. So I think he will pit a little bit before that. I think 52 would have been ideal. But
Angel! Has he saved it? Yes, he has. My, oh my, did that ever put my heart in my mouth. That was a very, 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 very intense moment here. Now, Disaster wheel to wheel with, who's this? It's four-door, of course. Disaster thinks better of it. I thought it might have been a back marker, but of course we don't have that many racers left in this one.
We're still going for it into turn 9.
Not over.
And look at that. That is a beautiful move. He's going to try it around the outside, and he might get it here because all of the traction zones here out of the outside do sometimes pay dividends. He's got the inside, but four-door. What a bit of traction there. DRS as well helping him through.
This is horrible, though, in the grand scheme of things, because they're losing tons of time. Tons.
I think they're fighting for fun. I will be honest, Jeff, because if you look forward, it seems unlikely that they will catch up. I mean, apart from on pit stops and strategies. So while there's another car on track, may as well have a little tussle.
Nice
But,
slip
well,
for
that
Disaster through on the inside there. It's what was a tussle is now a position gain.
yeah, and I think 4 Door will hit this lap. Maybe take it 1 or 2 laps more just to get another set of mediums to the end, but he's into the pits surely in the next 2 laps.
Brownie just
Probably the
dancing.
softs.
He's just dancing around that 1 second range. You look at it, it's just 8 tenths. He's gonna have DRS here. Dancing
Yeah, I
on the
think
low battery.
he's just going to keep pushing until the softs come at him. And, well, there he goes. He jumps out of 1 second, jumps back into it, pushes a little bit with battery. And I really think he has played this race pretty much perfectly. The problem here is that, well, Luke Smith could possibly just follow him. It depends. Does Luke Smith want to go to the end on these tires?
Well, it's an undercut, I think, that needs to come out of Brownie. You know, I don't think Luke is the first to blink.
But it would throw Brownie off.
It would throw him off.
It really would.
I think it would throw him off, but I don't know if it would work for Luke.
But
I don't think it would Luke. Or I don't think it would work for Luke, though.
I think the real winner here is that if Luke feels like he needs to pit, Vincent will feel like he needs to pit, and Yoda will just breeze on through on all 3 of them.
How many stops?
They haven't got a pit stop on him, and Yoda's through to the end comfortably. We can see it on Brownie's tires. He's got 35 laps of life left in those. He doesn't have to do that. He has to do 25, if my maths is correct. As there's a yellow flag, and, well, if this is a safety car, it won't be. It's Larsen in the same place we've seen him come off before. No damage again, just into the gravel trap, but drops hit back down to 7th place with Disaster right on his rear.
DRS for Disaster. Nothing yet coming from the Alfa Romeo, but this does put Larsen at a major risk coming into turn 1.
Yeah, here we go. DRS. I don't think Disaster's going to have it this lap unless he can find something around the outside. Larsen covers that. And I think he was very right to do so. If he didn't do that, I think it would have been 7th place to Disaster. But you can still see a little bit of struggle. I don't think these hards are really performing as well as Disaster would like. He will go to the end. We saw him do an absolutely humongous stint on the mediums last week in Zandvoort. I think he's going to do the same here on the hards. Not quite as far as Angel. I think Angel, unless he pits for softs, will go to the end on those. I think it will technically be possible. It will be... I don't know. That would take his tires to about 60-something laps old, and that would be unpleasant, to say the very least. But Brownie has now dropped significantly out of DRS range of Luke Smith, as Larsen is around. Again, no damage on the Mercedes, but those tires must really be feeling it. They're both in.
Yeah, they both came in. Luke's in first, Brownie came in second, and I think they're
Vincent's
both onto the softs.
in.
They're both onto the softs. Vincent's staying out.
That's a mistake, surely.
Well, no, it might not be.
As Larsen's off again, those tires are really done. Can Vincent, 1, keep Yoda at bay? And 2, does he have the pace to keep Luke Smith and Brownie at bay?
Big questions here. Luke Smith, Brownie, 1.6 is the separation, and that's not where you want to be if you're Brownie. However, he was out of that DRS range coming into the pit lane. Was the call for Brownie to try and maybe undercut Luke? I think that might have been better in his favor. But Luke, he blinked first, and it's what you said. It would really throw off Brownie. And I think it has.
Yeah, it completely removes Brownie's, strategic advantage of being able to go faster, quicker. And I think Luke called it perfectly. He had to make that call. He made it at the right time. Brownie's forced to pit at the same time, because otherwise he just loses out massively. And he's lost about 4-5 tenths to Luke as a result of this. And there goes Vincent. He's had to answer the call. Yoda goes through into first, and his tires will carry him to the end perfectly. Angel will be interested to see where he lands. Yagzio, well, he's going to have to pit at some point. I'm surprised he didn't come in this lap.
Well, what you've just said there gave us a very, very big dynamic in the fact that you mentioned Yoda is leading this race. His tires can go to the end. You have Yags who's coming in. Surely he can't go to the end on the softs. You've got Angel who's on the hards to the end, who is questionably going to the end. Luke and Brownie are going to be there with Yoda. And that's two Haas drivers who are in communication.
Right now. And it's all going to come down to just what is the pace. I don't think Yoda's far enough ahead. I think Luke Smith and Brownie still will podium. They get past Yagziel nice and easily. Well, Luke Smith does. Yagziel will come under pressure from Brownie soon. And he's already in DRS range, so he'll reel him in down in towards turn 1. And Disaster's no threat from behind. Vincent will get him.
But Brownie's going to
possibly
be
this time round.
Brownie's got the DRS on Yags to bring him potentially closer to Luke. Yags is doing him a favor.
Here goes Vincent, the run down into the inside, and Disaster, you can see he knows that he's got nothing on those soft 33 lap old hards. Don't stand a chance. I'm surprised he doesn't come into the pit stop, but he's got 16 seconds. Are those tyres 1 second a lap faster? And he's got the penalty to consider with as well. So I think he's just going to hold on to what will be at the end of things, probably a P8, given the 8 seconds of penalties that the Alfa Romeo driver has. Not long left though, 20 laps, and it's a short lap here. Probably about 25 minutes as Luke Smith gets a bit sideways coming out of turn 10. And he will get Angel here, undoubtedly down into turn 1. He's pushing with ERS. He's just putting as much distance between him and Brownie as he can. And Brownie's actually doing superlatively because he is actually catching Luke Smith.
Luke.
That might change here as, yeah, he just swipes through on the inside. Really nothing Angel could do. Brownie. Brownie's round. He's slot. Wow, what a save.
It was a
what
bit of a
save
drift from what I saw there.
I don't know how what he misjudged. I was on board with Luke watching that overtake, but he got past Yagziel, and Yagziel comes back through, obviously, with the Haas sidewards coming through turn 1. But my goodness, that nearly ended badly. That was almost race over for Brownie, and that gives Luke 3.5 seconds, I think, between them, and Larsen's out.
That's huge. Huge for this race. Yoda there.
What? We've got another one. This is bad news for Yoda. Surely he has to come in for softs now. And it will put him right down.
I think we were going to get another safety car. I don't know if you're in the same page
yeah,
as me.
I thought we were done. I thought we were done last time, but we got one more, and now we've got 2 more. So evidently, Burnt Myland is just eager to drive.
Yeah, heck of a car, a lot of fuel.
Yeah, and they said it was fun at this track, so they're just going for it. But yeah, this really, Yoda spun.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm so glad he reset there because I think Yagziel was going to go straight into him.
It looked like the Ferrari. Looked like the Ferrari was like, "Hey, I'm coming at you," and
that was scary.
That was very scary. This race has really been a shakeup. That is no. Yeah. We cannot stress enough the shakeup and the shuffling that we have seen in this race. The safety cars. I'm gonna say this now. I am very much hoping in tomorrow's Dutch Grand Prix that we do not see this many retirements, George, because that could be a very costly race. So knock wood, we have ourselves a much cleaner Netherlands in reality tomorrow. Yikes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, turn 13 was troublesome in qualifying in real life for a couple of, the Williams obviously were off. Obviously, Mazepin was in the gravel at one point, and Sainz obviously turn 3, and it's a tricky track both in the game and in real life, and hopefully, like you said, we don't have any major incidents, and it is a good, clean, action-packed race, but obviously this is completely unrepresentative of what we see, but qualifying didn't go, I think, as everyone would plan it to, so we'll see what happens there, but here what we've had is drama-packed, and I think Netflix would get a kick out of it, but We're just waiting for those last couple of drivers to reform onto the safety car. 53 of 72. And I think this is safety car 7 with full course caution 8. As Yoda's back in. What does he want?
Another set of softs, cycling. Weird. Serving a pit.
Serving a
5-second penalty in the pit lane, so he wants to have his best shot at the end. Disaster's only got 3 seconds, so he's back in it. He had 5 before I think he served it. Because him and Yoda had been together under that safety car for whatever reason. What a race. What a race. 9 drivers remaining here. We're on lap 54.
Yep. And, you know, it's going to be Luke Smith and Brownie facing off into turn 1 on the restart. This time, though, tyres are completely even. But all the cards stacked in Luke Smith's favor in terms of he knows when it's going to go down. Brownie's the one that has to react this time. And Luke Smith did well to react last time. And obviously, Brownie sort of lost his edge because he had so little time to variation, because he had to do so many restarts. Luke Smith here can play a variety of choices. He can go early, he can go late, he can go slow, he can control the pace fast, and he's not slowed it down quite as much as we saw earlier. I think Freeware, I think we saw a restart from him, you know, the first or second one, or he's slowing it down a bit more now as we come through into 11 and 12. This was more the pace that Freeware restarted things at. But I assume this will be the last safety car. I hope this is the last safety car.
I imagine all the drivers do as well. We've been going for quite some time.
Before, yeah. And it takes you out of the rhythm of driving as well, because you're in a race, you know, you're battling someone, and then you take him back down to slow speeds. You have to control it. Here we go. He's gone, and Brownie leaps at the opportunity, and Vincent was trying to catch him off guard there. Doesn't happen. We've got Ferraris 3 and 4 right now. The Scuderia having a very good race. The Williams of Angel, though, looking to try and take advantage of that and take that away from Yangtze. Doesn't find it at the inside. Disaster. Can he find anything? No, he can't. And on the safety car restart, very, very tame. Everyone, I think, just wants to get to the end of this race now, Striff. Everyone playing it safe, but Disaster, well, again, we're seeing a move through the opening sector. It's risky, it's bold. When it pulls off like that, it's well worth a shot.
Oh, without a doubt. It was a nice move.
Good as well.
Definitely. Of course, everyone, welcome to lap 55. We've just come out of a safety car restart. We greatly appreciate everybody that has tuned in for not just this race, but our Champions Division race earlier today as well. It's been a great evening of racing. We're now 4 hours into the stream. My name is Striffium here from Canada. Joining me is Mr. Unicorn from the UK. And 9 drivers remaining. 1 driver with a penalty in Disaster. And, well, it is lap 55, soon to be 56 out of 72. And welcome in.
Yeah, not long left. And, well, we're still seeing the same sort of pairing. And here we got the inside Yoda on Fordor on the inside. And he's just about squeezed his way through. A brilliant move there. And he's been sort of, you know, these safety cars really didn't pay well for him. Obviously, the spin as well when it was called out through the final corner. He did serve his penalty. He will get Disaster on penalties if he doesn't make the move. On track, he's got the freshest tyres. But
on hell. Very, very tight with Yags. Half a second the gap, and you look at Vincent. He's dancing in and around that DRS range. He does not want to lose that. If he loses that, he's going to become very vulnerable. I think he might just lose it. He's losing it. Not going to have it right now, as we're just going to have it enabled. What's happened on hell and blind, and they're both out, and we have 7 drivers remaining, and that was huge.
Well, I think that confirms our suspicions that we are now out of safety cars. Because I only think if anything deserves a safety car, it's 2 cars across not only the track but the pit entry as well.
Unreal. Unreal. That was a huge crash. That's very, very unfortunate to see. But yeah, we have finally, after many an issue in turn 14, mind you, seen what I think has been the limit of safety cars. So we have a straight race to the end now. All of these soft runners better be on notice. Mistakes aren't going to get you any restarts.
Yep, and well, it's 15 laps now. That's almost half of a 50% race, so a quarter of this one.
The eggs, you can
Yeah,
see now. There's just nothing Vincent can do without DRS. Disaster looking, and he's set the fastest lap of the race now, a 10.5. It's been a heck of a comeback for Disaster, I think, all things said and considered. He's really had the book thrown at him today.
Yeah, I think everyone in this, right, Brownie and Luke, obviously they've been at the front pretty much the whole time, very much in control of the pace, sort of working together.
Disaster on the rear. Vincent has spun, and he's now looking the other way. Yoda threw into fifth, and that is not the that is not where you want to end up after what's been, we mentioned, such a dynamic campaign for the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, and he went from having such a good race in Tier 4. And to be honest, it's been a pretty decent race. Obviously, there's been mistakes for him, but he's still in it. He's up 8 places from where he started. So, obviously, there will be things that he will be unhappy about. But at the end of the day, a great result. Luke Smith under pressure from Brownie. These two, I think, will go to the checkered flag.
Brownie finished 4th in today's championship race, or Champions Division race, if I'm not mistaken. It was Luke Smith who finished 2nd. Both of these drivers, who have now gone 59, soon to be 60 laps in the Netherlands, did 27 laps of Russia ahead of this, plus a full qualifying. It has been quite the day of endurance racing for the pair of these two, to say the least.
Yeah, it's been, it's been a long haul. Like you said earlier, we're going on 4 hours now, and it's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of action.
Yeah, tons of it, tons of drama. Bit of a train still, of course. We've got Brownie, Luke Smith. Here we go now. A move for the lead. It's Brownie into lead of this race. And well, we saw him in lead of this race for such a time, leading the safety car restarts, holding off Luke Smith. If you're Luke Smith right now and you know Brownie's such a difficult driver to get through, where is your head at?
Well, like you said, Brownie. He's a high caliber driver. Luke Smith as well. They're both, we've watched them both just do very well in the Champions Division race. That's the fastest that we've got on paper, and they both, Luke Smith obviously leading that championship. Brownie done well as a reserve P4, and at this point they've been driving, this pretty much the same amount of time as we've been commentating, pretty much 4 hours. And if they were practicing before, maybe even longer. The endurance really has been for those two, and they are not crumbling under the pressure at all. And they're just doing so well to just maintain this pace. Yaxiol as well, he's sticking with them, but Vincent, his teammates off.
Oh my!
And he is into the wall.
That's not even
just cycling
in 14.
Through the drivers.
It's just coming into 14.
Yeah, and here goes Luke Smith on the inside of Brownie. We saw something similar earlier, and again, just about avoids both the car and the curb.
61 of 72, 6 racers remaining. Vincent was in a good position there. Now, well, he's out of this race.
Yeah, 6 drivers, and despite this having parallels to other races we mentioned previously, I think this one still holding up in terms of action. There's still been plenty of on-track sort of action to balance things out, but we are nearing a very, very small driver pool. We started with 20, we go down to 6. And at the halfway point, lap 35, we'd lost half the drivers. So I think we have reduced in terms of the rate.
Luke Smith, Brownie, still such a tight fight for this race win unfolding, with the Yags in the rearview mirrors as well, looking to pick up any crumbs that may fall out of this battle. Now, Brownie, lap 62 out of 72. It's just going to be between these three all the way to the end unless Yoda is able to bring himself in. And given the fact that these three are fighting, I think that is a likely situation.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to checkered flag. We do not know what's going to happen in this race until it's over. We've had so much up and down. It just takes one of these drivers to make the same mistake. These top three are so close that if one of them makes the mistake, they might wipe out the other. And again, you know, you could have a Yagzio Yoda four-door sedan podium. It doesn't look likely now, but you could have Yoda Disaster and four-door on the podium. It could all change in a second with what we've been seeing so far. And if things, you know, remain consistent, those mistakes still coming out. Luke Smith, Yagzio pulling to the inside, following Brownie for the slipstream. Brownie switching back to the outside. They follow, and it's so close into turn one.
Yeah, Yags is really going to be putting some pressure here, and I think Luke Smith not going to be liking it. Brownie kind of only under pressure from one driver, whereas Luke, he can't drop off of Brownie and fight Yags. Yags is able to do whatever he wants, but you can see now, from the moment I brought it up last time through here, Yoda has gained half a second on this fight. We have quite a few laps left in this race for Yoda to, if he's gaining a second or half a second a lap, he will get in here. And he has the freshest tires out of anybody. We could very well see a Haas one too.
Absolutely. It's still, like I said, there's still a lot to play for. Everything's on the plate. Luke Smith, though, really piling on the pressure here. He's built up a lot of battery, and I think he's going to utilize that in the late stages.
A little bit of grass for Luke there. Oh, that makes me nervous. Hunting down Brownie, pushing. Does he look to the inside? Brownie on the outside, coming through nice and gradual to take his line. At the very least, we get ourselves an intense battle for the finale, right? And the podium position's all up for grabs between these three. Where are they going to land? Yoda now 2.1. It's been a second and 2 laps that he has gained. He is gunning for the podium. And I think I'm worried if I'm the Ferrari. I don't know about Luke and Brownie, but I think if I'm Yags, I'm worried.
Yeah, the thing is here is that you don't want to take unnecessary risks in the last few laps. Yoda right now is pushing hard, and he's catching quickly, and you know that is what you want to see if you're the Haas. The problem is, this is Zandvoort. We do not have a lot of overtaking opportunity.
We've seen 2 realistic overtaking opportunities pay dividends, and that's turn 1 and turn 11. And even then, turn 11's been rare tonight, and we've had an issue now. Yoda's not going to be doing any position gaining now, as he has spun coming out of turn 12. And, well, what was looking like a very good potential podium for him has turned into a very, very big disappointment, albeit he has made up a massive number of positions in this race. 13 positions gained, all things said and done, and he is among the 6 drivers remaining in this campaign, which is an achievement in itself, I have to say.
It's these races, we call them endurance for a reason. And again, we have one that lives up to the billing. It's, you know, maybe a rebranding to survival would be fitting, but
I feel like if there was a television show intro where they show you the villains and, you know, the antagonists in the show, that turn 14, yeah,
show up.
they'd be there. You know what I mean? They'd have their own characters. They'd have their own little story and plot, and it's all the drivers working to do their best to defeat turn 13 and 14. Apparently, it's these 6 guys that have come out through the end of the race that have done the best at that.
And it's still just going to come down to the last few here. It's still so tight between the top 3. Like you said, Yoda, well, he's not going to be doing anything anymore. He's out of the billing. We know there's no safety cars left. You know, big respect to him for staying in, because a lot of drivers would have just retired there, but it's still a P6. I don't think he'll even get within disastrous penalties of 3 seconds, because he's had the 5 seconds off in the pits.
What a week of racing we've had. This caps off our week of MRL, of course. We saw 7 races, very epic, explosive races around Russia. And this is now, to round it off, our 8th race of the week. And this is, of course, it's been a very, very unique Dutch Grand Prix.
Well, like you said, I hope this isn't, you know, a precursor for tomorrow, but I do hope it's as action-packed, just in a different way.
Yeah, in a different way. Brownie.
But the action
here comes Yags. Oh, this is huge. Luke Smith had to do some quick thinking there. I don't think he saw Yags taking an opportunity to try and park it around the outside.
This is just,
Yags gets
it's amazing that we have a 3-car race for the lead at this stage of the race.
I agree
with the situations that we've had, but we do. And Brownie right now, just like he has been throughout this race, is controlling it very well. The problem he has is that he has 19% ERS. Luke Smith has 82. He has been building and saving, and in the last few laps, he is just going to put everything into overtaking that Haas and staying in front of it in the closing moments. And it's such a shame for Brownie, because he has done so well. He's led so many laps. And after all of this, it might come all falling down in the last lap for him, with Luke Smith just putting on real pressure. Yagsiel, though, is doing well to make Luke Smith burn a little bit. He's got just under 30% battery, so he's using it a bit out of the last corner, forcing the Alpine to burn it off a little bit. But my, oh my, he is really doing well here. But it's anyone's game. I think it will come down to either Brownie or Luke Smith, but Yagsiel doing well to stick with it and fully deserves the podium.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think it's been a very, very hard-fought race for Yagsiel, Luke Smith, and Brownie. They're all sitting on those provisional podium positions, and I think they're going to be taking them at the end of this one. We are on lap 68 out of 72. And we have 6 drivers remaining out of the 20 that began, and we saw 10 of the drivers out in the first half of the race. Really struggling with the turn 14 banking. Yags dropping just a touch around that half second, while Luke holding with Brownie with everything he can. Luke with a great amount of battery, which is something to note in comparison to Brownie, and Yags with a good chunk as well.
Here we go. This is the push. Luke Smith, Brownie flashing. He's got no ERS left. And on lap 69 of 72, the Alpine takes lead of things. He's got 52% battery. Brownie's got 10%. And you have to say, that looks like the end of it. But never say never, because we've seen everything in this race.
We have, except rain, which we thought at some point
we thought
might have
happen,
come.
but the skies have cleared.
Given all the safety cars, can I just say, given all the safety cars, wouldn't that have been something, eh? If we had the dynamic option on and come through and you get rain and dry and rain and dry. I miss those races. Canada comes to mind.
Well, I think we wouldn't have had a safety car to stop the race for the rain. It would have run out.
We would have been out of safety cars to stop the heavy torrential downpour.
And how would we have had a 2-lap race to qualify it?
Yeah, true.
Would have been awful. Would have been awful. But here we are. 3 laps to go. We're nearly there. And we've still got a 3 race for the lead. But Luke Smith has just set fastest lap of the race. He is putting his foot down. And he's just saying to Brownie, without communicating to him, this is mine. You can have P2. And Brownie needs to be careful not to lose out on that as well, because Yagziel might still have that too.
Luke really burning the battery right now compared to where we saw him a few laps ago. He had 80% a few laps ago. Now he's got about 20. Brownie has been dancing in and around this low percentage the entirety of the race. Yags as well, burning off the battery. It's a use it or lose it moment, and we're on lap 70 out of 72. We're about to cross into the penultimate lap of running here, and it is a it's an Alpine, Haas, Ferrari 1, 2, and 3 in the running at the moment.
Yeah, and it's been that way for quite some time. It really hasn't looked, ever since Yoda crashed, 5 laps ago, it doesn't look like that podium was going to change from this in some order. Brownie, he's sticking with Luke Smith, but this is all he's been able to do when Luke Smith overtakes. He is equalizing on ERS, but I think it's going to be too little too late. We're on the penultimate lap now.
71 to 72. What a campaign it's been. It's such a long race here in the Netherlands, 72 laps.
It's been utterly bonkers, is how I would describe this race. It has been a real roller coaster. It has been up and down, and we've lost 14 drivers at various points, mostly to turn 14, which is pretty fitting, but 6 remain. The bottom 3 all pretty much out of contention. They're about 20 seconds apart from one another, with Disaster 10 seconds off Yagziel, but the top 3 still fighting.
Well, here we go. If there's anything coming out of this Haas or the Ferrari, it needs to come soon. It needs to come quick. We've seen races to the line. Of course, we're about to begin the final lap of contention. Battery and utilization. DRS and utilization of purple sector 3 to boot for Brownie, and around the outside in the Haas. Does he have enough traction here? Does he have enough power? Luke holding to the inside, a very nice hold at that, and Yags nowhere near to get involved in this fight. But Brownie making his intention to take a potential race win here. Very, very known to Luke in the Alpine. We come through now into sector 2. The DRS not going to be a factor until we come through out of turn 10. We have, of course, Luke Smith. He has a little bit of battery. They're dancing. They're equalized on the battery. Less than 4/10, 3/10 now the gap as we come through. How is it going to go with the DRS on the final DRS opportunity for Brownie? He'll need to have a great exit to try and maybe line something up. It's tight. It's tight. Luke Smith leading this race after 71 laps. We're on lap 72. Brownie, half a second, a little bit of a slip. This might seal the deal. Luke Smith through 13 now, no curbing on the inside to unsettle his car. Now through 14. This is the final run, ladies and gentlemen, to the race win. It is Luke Smith with Brownie and Yagswol collecting the second and third slots. What a race finale here in the Netherlands.
Absolutely. What a stunning race between Luke Smith and Brownie this has been. It's really been a 2-horse race with Yagziel, Yoda, at some points, looking like they might make a challenge, but realistically, it's been that sort of. There's been 4 or 5 people on for the podium. Disaster and Fytron. Obviously, I've just said they weren't really on for the win there, but they both need to pat themselves on the back as well for just getting to the end of this race, because these corners, this track does not play nicely, we should say.
No, it's a tough circuit, a very tough circuit. This turn where we see Yoda now finishing out the race has been the real villain today, but Yoda now will finish this race, collecting the final slot in contention here, 6th position after a very, very long haul. Man, oh man. 6 finishers after 72 laps of contention, turn 14, and a couple of other situations playing prominent here, but there it is. There it is, Luke Smith. Well, he's taken three consecutive podiums in the Champions Division that were second place. We spoke to him earlier today about that. Now with a win, we're going to get to speak to hopefully Brownie as well and Mr. Yagswol. But what a race. What a race. We're going to have interviews and a raid in just a moment's time. What a classification in the end as well. 10.083 fast lap from Luke in the Alpine.
That is, fastest lap as well late on. 96 minutes and 59 seconds. So that's an hour and 37 minutes there or thereabout. So a very long race. And bearing in mind, Luke Smith, he came P2 in a Champions race just 10 minutes before we started qualifying here. So he really has been in it for a long haul. And, well, you got to give it to Brownie as well, 11th to 2nd. And he also was in that Champions race where he came P4. So both of them a very successful evening of racing. Yagsio, P3 to P3. Great race from him. Disaster, 15th to 4th. Vordor followed him the whole race, 16th to 5th. And then Yoda, the only other finisher, 19th to 6th. The gamble on the hard work at the start, played the safety car beautifully. Everyone else retiring from this race. You had Vincent, Blind, Arnahel, Larsen, Matt, Kai, Dimitrio, Neon, Yar, Noel, Freeware, Wisp, Jake, and Yaya. All of whom failed to finish. But my goodness. That was a brilliant race. But at the same time, for a lot of drivers, it wasn't such a brilliant race. Yep, we can hear you.
All right, there we go. I was having a little bit of a technical issue there. We're going to get some good interviews in a second. I had a problem with my microphone. Alrighty, joining us after a very, very long campaign in the Netherlands, third position this evening. Yags, how are you doing? Man, oh man, 72 laps. You had a fight for a potential win in the end there. How are you feeling?
Exhausted after that race.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's a very intense campaign. Safety cars as well. Stop, go, stop, go. Just let's have your thoughts on it.
Well, I qualified, I think, P3, I believe, but then I got hit off near to the beginning. So then kind of had to work my way up from there, but obviously it was a lot easier with the safety cars. They're kind of on and off, on and off. But actually near to the middle of the race, my power actually cut, but I managed to get that back on and managed to get P3. And I don't know, my pace at the end, it felt really good. Don't know where it came from.
Yeah, it was a great race in the end. Honestly, we saw so much epic racing, and it really was a solid endurance race to say the least. Of course, we've had many endurance races. Next week we have another one around Monza. Is it something you'd be looking to do again after this great race?
Yeah, I'll definitely do it, but Monza's not really my track. I'll definitely practice it a lot for the endurance race.
Gotcha. Unicorn, any questions for Yags?
Well, Yags, I just, congratulations really on finishing this one. Obviously, a lot of people retired. Just a word on the safety cars. Obviously, that pulls you out of just the racing. How difficult was it to keep stopping and starting? I know Striff's mentioned it there in the strategy, but just getting taken out of that flow of racing and then putting back into it, taking back out of it. How difficult is that to manage as a driver?
Well, it disrupts the flow of the race a bit. It also mixes things up. I don't know, I think it just makes it a lot more interesting, really. I quite like it.
Well, Yags, congratulations. A huge just pat on the back for finishing the race, let alone podiuming. But Yags, congratulations. Take it easy, and we hope to see you again in another endurance race. But congratulations on the podium here in a very, very challenging race.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. That was Yagswell, everybody. We're going to jump in now with our second position finisher. I don't know if I cannot recall if I've ever had a chance to interview you in a podium capacity, it is Mr. Felix Lundberger. Brownie, hello. P4 in the Champions Division earlier today. Just wanted to say great race for that. We didn't get to talk to you after that one, but man, 72 laps, and not just 72 laps, 72 laps of just pure intensity. I mean, if we discount the safety car with Mr. Luke Smith. How are you feeling, Brownie?
That was just amazing. I can't remember when I had this much fun last time in the F1 game. That was just crazy.
You had a stellar race. God. Stellar race. I think we had. We're gonna get an official count. I think at some point. Was it 6 full safety cars? I think it was 6.
I think yes. I
would say
that was the maximum. And man, I was really lucky. I have to admit, with the safety cars on the mediums, because Vexit was definitely faster than me on the mediums. But I got lucky a few times with the safety cars. But yeah, on the softs I felt really good. I felt almost equal pace to Vexit. Even managed to overtake him, which I haven't felt so good in the game in a long time, and it was really amazing.
You were doing a very good job, I have to say, from our view. I mean, you had some superlative defending today through turn 1 as well. We saw you playing a little bit of the guessing game there. You were going to the inside, you were extending, you were going through the outside, you were trying to squeeze, and it was so good to see it. And it was tight racing with you and Luke Smith through the whole campaign, especially near the end there. We got to see you guys. There was a little bit of a disruption in the Ferrari for a moment, trying to sneak into your little duel, but just a thrilling race. And of course, the safety car really coming in after so many times, playing a good role for you on that medium stint. I wanted to ask you, Luke Smith, he went into the pit lane, he had fresher mediums, you were holding him well until he finally overtook you. You and him went into the pits at the same time. Were you going to be looking for an undercut to try and get him? Did him
Yes.
coming in kind of hurt you?
I knew I could could have already another last safety car. I could have made it to the end on softs, but I elected to stay out and try to pull a little bit of a gap for pitting. And I pitted because I was forced to, because I made a mistake in the sector 3, and I lost DRS to Vexit, to Luke, and then I just had to pit to have a chance of an undercut.
Wow.
But I did not know, like I wasn't thinking that would win me the race, because I did not think I would have equal or almost equal pace to Vexit on the soft.
Well, it was really an unreal fight between the two of you. Unicorn, do you have any questions for Brownie after that crazy race?
Well, I think you guys have pretty much just covered it, but Brownie, from me to you, that was a superlative drive. Management was just incredible. Obviously, Luke got you in the end, but, you know, obviously you did champions before this, and now this as well.
I did another race before that. I did 2 100% races today, basically, and
you've been going
3
for a good,
qualifyings.
like, quarter of the day. So that just adds to the impressiveness of this result. So Brownie, from me to you, congratulations. Everyone in the chat has said that they enjoyed that battle for the lead. So we put a lot of smiles on people's faces. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. But congratulations on the podium.
Yeah, best fans.
Gonna be a good sleep tonight, I think. Eh?
Yeah, thanks Holland. You have the best fans. Hashtag blessed.
Well, congratulations, Brownie, and we'll see you hopefully another interview soon after some great races lately.
Thanks.
That was Brownie, everybody. What a stellar drive. And now, for the second time this evening, after the Champions Division race, we already got to speak to Mr. Luke Smith. Second time, this time for a race win. Congratulations, 72 laps. All things said and considered, you are the victor after your second place finish earlier today. How are you feeling? It's been a good day, I'd say, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, I think the word I'm looking for is exhausted. The battle with Brownie was really awesome. yeah, it was really nice. But both had just enough respect, kept it clean, and yeah, that was a really enjoyable battle, especially considering it's what midnight, and I've been doing about 100 odd laps of driving now. But yeah, that was a really nice race.
It was really good. It must have been a bit of a thrilling battle between you and Brownie, to say the least. I mean, you guys had lap after lap after lap in multiple different stints of battling. We saw such a defense from him in turn one. There was a little bit of shuffling going on, and then it was a role reversal, if you will, between you and him, and the same games, the same tactics. Just a crazy, crazy race, and I imagine this is, well, you like these endurance races. Are you looking forward to Monza coming off of a win?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if I'll be able to do Monza, because I'll be going back to school at that sort of point. So, yeah, if I'm able to do it, then I obviously will, because it's great when you can have such a great battle like that, especially after a decent result earlier as well. It's really nice to just race some of the cleanest and best drivers in the community. So yeah, if I can make them, I will, but I can't make any promises, unfortunately.
Well, no worries there. It was just a great race overall today. Two great races from you, all things said and done. Unicorn, any questions for Luke before we wrap things up for this evening after a great stream?
Well, Luke, I just mentioned to Brownie the management, and ultimately, I think it's what won you the race. Just how were you able to rack up such a great you just look so comfortable behind Brownie, and sort of after the last safety car, you just able to, I think you got to about 84% battery at one point,
Yeah,
and that really won you the race. Just how did you know that it was going to come down to that? Just you had to push for 1.5 laps. Was that always your plan, or was that sort of on the fly? Because it's brilliant strategy from you.
Well, the intent was to go for fastest lap as well. So if I could use Brownie or the DRS and Slipstream and then go for another push lap, then I would have been able to, instead of get just 25 points, then it would be 26. So that was the strategy, but also I knew because Brownie was flashing, it wouldn't be too hard to actually get past. The harder thing would be to keep the position at the end when I was on lower ERS. So it was a bit of a risk, but it paid off, as you said. So yeah.
Well, Luke, congratulations. We said it Brownie as well, but considering you did champions before this as well, a double podium for you this evening. But huge congratulations, and you've done very well tonight. So,
yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's been tough, but yeah, glad that I did it all. So,
yeah, great drive, and we'll hopefully see you with some good results in some of the MRL races coming soon as well.
Yeah,
take
let's
care.
Hope so. Yep, you too. Bye.
What a race! What a day! Well, it's been a day/evening for me. It's been a long evening for you, George, and I imagine wherever you may be joining us, it's been a long haul, as we've had two excellent races. We've had a ton of drama, intensity, some great wheel-to-wheel action, and I am thrilled that we got to enjoy all of this. And of course, well, next week we've got Monza. We've got a great week of races coming up for MRL Season 5, Round 4, as we are going to Spa all week long. 7 races coming slated for that. Man, am I ever looking forward to that racing action as well, George. And any messages from you for the viewers before we wrap things up with the outro and a raid as always?
Well, I think it was just a very crazy, a very action-packed race there. Two races, because obviously you can't forget we had the closing round of Russia with the champions earlier as well, and both Brownie and Luke there, they done so well, and everyone else who got to the end of that, Yagsy old disaster, Yoda, and I feel like I'm missing one other person there, but just a crazy evening of racing. Hopefully everyone is able to enjoy tomorrow's race as well. Hopefully it's a little bit more exciting than last week's race in real life, but obviously we hope that goes well. We'll see how well that all goes, but obviously thank you to everyone who stayed for this long. It's been for nearly 20 minutes, and it'll be 5 hours, so it's been a long stream. We always appreciate your guys' support. Thank you all so much for watching, wherever it is, whether it's good night, good day. Take it easy, and we'll see you in the next one.